This is Camp Perry, Ohio, and we're here for the National Rifle Matches, and that's a combination of several different events sponsored by the Civilian Marksmanship Program, or CMP, and the National Rifle Association, or NRA. And these are the premier rifle shooting championships that are held every year here at Camp Perry, Ohio, which is a Ohio National Guard training installation.
All brass must be policed and deposited in the proper containers. While performing pit duties, all personnel must remain on the catwalk during live firing periods.
Okay, so the M855A1 Epr was fielded in Afghanistan in June of 2010. It's the Army's newest combat ball ammunition for 5.56 weapons like the M4 and the M249 squad automatic weapon. And it's got several improvements over the green tip ammunition, which was its precursor. It's got a much more efficient design projectile, has better hard target performance, which means that if an enemy combatant or a bad guy is hiding behind something like a car door or some other kind of battlefield barrier you might commonly find, like just a steel trash can or something like that, debris that you find in an urban environment, this round will perform much better than the previous round, the green tip or M855 ammunition. It's got an improved propellant, it's got a flash reduced additive, it's more accurate, and there are several of the manufacturing processes that were designed into the round that make it more efficient and more consistent. Such as it has a reverse drawn jacket in the bullet. And what that means is that when the bullet is starting to be manufactured, the copper starts out as a cup, and it's pulled and elongated to start to form the shape of the bullet from back to front, just like competition match grade bullets are made. And that inherently makes the rounds more accurate. The new round is got a copper core which replaces the lead core, which is the center part of the projectile, and that's reducing approximately 2,000 metric tons from training ranges in the United States every year. It's a significant environmental move that the Army's made with this new round. And finally, the projectile's got a steel penetrator like the old round did, except the penetrator on the new round has been redesigned, it's been moved forward towards the tip of the round, and it's been sharpened. I'm participating in 5 different days of competition. Last week I shot in what's called the President's Match. There was about 1,270 plus or minus competitors in the match. I placed 177th. And this week I'm participating in something called the National Service Rifle Championship. There's about 500 competitors in this competition. It's held over the course of 4 days. And both of these events are, as I said before, the premier rifle shooting championships held every year in the country. There's a combination of civilian and military. The matches are open to the public. The military is very well represented with all services being here. Notably, the Marine Corps and U.S. Army teams are here with their Reserve and Guard counterparts. Probably 150, 200 competitors are associated with the military in some way. Today I'm shooting a M16A2, 20-inch barrel M16A2, very much like the Army M16A2. Mine is a civilian AR-15 equivalent, but externally you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It looks just like the Army's M16A2. Today we were shooting at 200 and 600 yards. During the national championship there's also a 300-yard stage. And today we shot the standing position at 200 yards, slow fire, 1 minute per shot, and we're shooting at bullseye targets. So the center ring is an X, and then it's a 10 ring and so on, standard bullseye target. Today we shot rapid fire sitting at the 200-yard line, which is 2 strings of 10 shots in 1 minute. And there's a requirement that the competitors do a magazine change, so shooters load 2 rounds in one magazine and 8 rounds in another, and so you shoot 2, then 8 with a magazine change in 1 minute, sitting position at 200 yards. And then finally today we shot prone slow fire at 600 yards, again at a bullseye target. The bullseye at 600 is 1 minute of angle, so that X ring is 6 inches across at 600 yards. And we fired 20 shots, slow fire, 1 minute per shot. Week and last week we've been doing very well. Yesterday I placed in the top 25 in the sitting event, and I had a better score in that position today, so I think we're doing real well. In fact, today my first string of sitting was a clean, a 100 perfect possible score with 7 of them in that inner X ring. And I'll tell you, that is as good as I can do. So the ammunition is absolutely not a limiting factor here. It's shooting just as good as any match ammo that I could have brought out to the range. I really cannot tell a difference when I'm shooting in this style of event, and you got to understand we're using iron sights. This is and we're shooting out of position. Some of the shooting is done from the standing position, so there's a lot of shooter error involved in this game. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring the Army's new combat round out to the competition, because it's so precise that shooters out here really can't tell the difference. There's the difference in the scores from one shooter to the next is more about shooter error and your ability to aim and look at the environmental factors like the wind drift and that kind of thing than it's got to do with the accuracy of the ammunition. We've been real happy with the performance of the round. We're getting a lot of favorable comments from the other competitors that the round's doing fantastic and exceeding anybody's expectations for what something that people would call machine gun ammo or combat ammunition could possibly be able to do out on a competition venue. I've been shooting it competitively for about 30 years. Been doing this a long time. It's a hobby of mine, and been very blessed and fortunate to be able to come out here and demonstrate the Army's new round in an environment that's kind of a second home to me that I love, and it's just it's best of both worlds. In the President's 100 competition, there are no practice or sighting shots allowed, so every round is essentially, or every first round is a cold bore shot. The first shot out of your rifle counts for record, and so in order to be able to do well in something like that, you've really got to know your zero, and I did have to do a good bit of practicing with the ammunition to fine-tune my particular zero with this ammunition on my rifle. Sure did. This ammunition was designed to be a drop-in solution, so ideally soldiers won't even notice that we've made these improvements to their ammunition. Soldiers expect it to perform superbly on the battlefield, and this ammunition does. Of course, the green tip was a good round also. Many of the improvements that we've made, hopefully soldiers won't ever have to notice, but they can rest assured that we've made a good round even better.
What did I shoot?
Yeah.
A 190, 1 for 6?
Yeah, something like that. What'd I have? All right.